Brawl Stars has been around for quite some time, I think it's pretty safe to say, being released officially in beta on June 15th, 2017. During that span of time up until present date, Brawl Stars has been through quite a bit of changes, almost to the point where it looks like a completely different game way back in the past. So today I want to take the time, seeing that Brawl Stars just came off of a pretty significant anniversary, and as we're moving into this new year, to go over some really satisfying moments back in the day, as well as moments that you might not know about or have forgotten about. So of course, hope you guys are all excited. Let's get straight away into it. Here we go! So I definitely haven't done this for a while, but if you guys have been enjoying the content here on the channel as of recently, be sure you're subscribed to the channel. I try to upload every single day to get fresh, new, exciting content out there for all of you guys here in the Brawl Stars community. We're sitting at 57.6% not subscribed and 42.4% subscribed. You 57.6%. Make sure to subscribe. But in all seriousness, thank you guys so freaking much for all the continued support. You guys are amazing here. Heading into the new year, we got big stuff planned here on the Brawl Stars channel. So I definitely wanted to get this video out before the new year here, basically just to reminisce as we're entering into 2022 on all the previous fun years that we've had with Brawl Stars. And if you're newer to the game, you might be pretty dang interested in what's to come here in this video. So hats off to such a phenomenal game that's been providing so much fun to all of us here in the Brawl Stars community. And hopefully we can have just as much fun, or if not more fun, in 2022. So everyone, I want to start off here in today's video to go over not necessarily a satisfying thing, but a very interesting thing that I guarantee you like 99% of you have forgotten about or just don't know. And that is taking a look specifically at the patch notes when the star powers first arrived here in Brawl Stars. Can you believe that it's been over 4 years since star powers have been a thing here in this game? It's crazy to think, man. But talking about star powers specifically, one brawler here in the game had a very unique ability that was thrown completely out the window before the update actually arrived. If we take a look here at the third point under other corrections and info, it's a star power about Shelly. We didn't have time to finish Shelly's pet, so her special will be a bit different. Guys, did you know Shelly's very first star power was going to be a spawner-esque ability instead of the slow that she currently has? I don't know if it was specifically going to be a spawner like a Nita Bear or a Jessie turret, but a pet nonetheless, maybe something following her around, I don't know. And speaking of star powers, there was also another very significant change to his star power from another brawler around that same time. Taking a look at a little bit of Lex's gameplay way back in the day, guys, Brawl Stars looks so much different, but it was a star power for Poco. They completely changed the star power because it was actually quite bad. The way that it was before they changed it was if you ended up dying with Poco, you would explode this wave of healing that would heal up your characters on your team by 1000 HP. They later thought that it wasn't super good, seeing that you had to sacrifice yourself in order to get the ability, and then changed to Decapo that we have today, where you use a basic attack to heal up your teammates. Moving along to around the same time period, I wanted to jump ahead because we're moving into some really satisfying stuff here in a minute, but I wanted to keep it in the same time period, and that is around this time we had really different currencies in Brawl Stars, one of which was an elixir. So you would use these elixirs found in brawl boxes in order to power up the brawlers that were currently in the game at this point. But there was a very significant thing in the community that people absolutely despised, and that was there were rarity drop rates for these power up elixirs. We have a legendary elixir as well as an epic, and I believe there was a mythic for 5 elixirs. Now I'm sure you can tell by the tone of this message here 4 years ago that this was definitely not a very liked thing in the game, and that was because this legendary elixir drop rate was the same exact drop rate as one of the 2 legendary brawlers in the game, Spike or Crow. So you can imagine how devastating it would be to get a legendary thing out of a box, but find that it was just elixir and not the legendary brawlers. I believe Lex back in the day had a really big problem with the legendary elixirs, like pulling like 4 in a row before getting a legendary brawler that he was going for. He was like going into a rage. It was so crazy back in the day. But with that being said, we're transitioning into the second ever big update here in Brawl Stars, renowned in the community as one of the best updates in the eyes of the community that was playing at this time. Now, I believe we've only ever had 2 different resource conversions here in the history of Brawl Stars, one of which was when we were going into this second ever update in Brawl Stars, and my goodness, these have to be one of the most satisfying things ever in Brawl Stars. Before this update, we had elixir as well as chips here for our currency. Chips were used in order to purchase brawlers that could be obtained by cycling duplicate brawlers from brawl boxes, so you could purchase, like, with 200 chips, a legendary Spike or a Crow. Straight up, you could just get it. So when this update arrived, we got a crazy conversion of resources here. So the elixir was turned into the new currency, upgrade tokens, which were used to power up your brawlers in the game, and the chips were turned into beautiful, glorious gems. It made so many players in the game rich as heck, dude. It was so dang crazy that I vividly remember being a free-to-play Brawl Stars player, having enough elixir getting transferred into upgrade tokens to max out 3 or 4 different brawlers in the game, thus getting their star power and having fun with the new content. I believe I got Colt, Shelly, and Mortis maxed out right away. So yeah, it was amazing. One of the coolest currency transfers here ever. But again, there is another one which we will be going over here in today's video. Now, you want to talk about satisfying. This second ever update introduced a new upgrade system for brawlers in the game that was actually very complex, but it was so fun. You had so much control over how you wanted to upgrade your brawlers. There were 3 different trees, one for health, one for attack, and one for super, and you could quite honestly, if you wanted to, just level up the health tree and you would be this tanky boy with literally no attack or no benefits to the super tree. It was really fun, and it was so dang satisfying to upgrade everything on a new brawler when the update first came out. Once again, that will go down in history as one of my favorite updates, but I completely understand why they changed it. It wasn't good or conducive for the long term, right? It was way too complicated for new players coming to the game. Moving along to our next really satisfying thing that came out in the second update as well, and that is coin doublers and coin booster. Guys, I'm telling you, this is going to make any free-to-play player froth at the mouth, knowing that coins are pretty dang important nowadays. So we all know that we have token doublers here in Brawl Stars, but there were also coin doublers and boosters back in the day, which was insane, seeing that coins were used for opening up brawl boxes. So somewhat of a different use for coins back in the day than what we have now in present Brawl Stars, but it's still so dang satisfying. There was no cap to the coin booster, which is why I believe it was removed some time ago, because my goodness, it was so good for getting brawl boxes. It literally smashed any progression that we have in the game right now. Just take a look at this. Back in the day, we would get coins instead of tokens for winning a game, leveling up, and things like that. But with coin booster and coin doubler, you can see just how many coins these people were able to get. So for the victory, he got 8 coins. For a first win, 16 coins. A rank up, 10 coins. Level up, 20 coins. And then the coin booster gave a 50% increase to all of those coins, and then you double that with the coin doubler. They got 81 coins. Now, the progression from these coin doublers and coin boosters were quite honestly game breaking if you ask me. Way back in the day, your boy Ray was a free-to-play player. I didn't have the legendary brawlers, and all the content creators around me were getting Spike and Crow, the only 2 legendary brawlers in the game, and I was getting frustrated, so I pulled the trigger. I'm sure you guys know what tickets are nowadays, but tickets way back in the day were a very good way to progress here in Brawl Stars by using them in special event game modes, specifically Robo Rumble. And you might not believe me when I tell you that tickets had no limit of purchase in the game. Later in Brawl Stars history, when tickets were still in the game, you could only purchase a set amount every single week, I believe. But no, during this time period, you could literally buy as many tickets as you wanted. Now, with this in mind, as I was trying to get Crow and Spike, I bought 1,850 gems. And with those gems, I bought 600 tickets, as well as a crap ton of coin boosters and coin doublers. So with those 1,850 gems, purchasing the resources that we had in Brawl Stars back in the day, I managed to get 435 brawl boxes for less than $100. Nowadays, $100 will get you 2,000 gems, and if you use all those gems on mega brawl boxes, you'll walk away with the equivalent of 250 brawl boxes open. So it's safe to say progression was insane back then. And off those gems spent, those 435 brawl boxes, I managed to get both legendaries, Crow and Spike. It was a beautiful thing, man. Later, the coin boosters were announced to be removed from the game. Coin doublers stayed for a little bit longer, but it introduced a really interesting thing that a lot of people did, and that is they stockpiled the crap out of the coin boosters before they were removed, so they would stay on their account even if you couldn't purchase them anymore. For example, this guy here had 100 days of coin boosters, and I'm telling you, I knew a few people that had even more, close to a year of coin boosters. It was nuts, dude. But now that we got some of the old school stuff out of the way, next moving along to more recent times, though it's still pretty dang old school, but at this point in Brawl Stars we had Landscape, which was one of the most hated updates at the time in Brawl Stars, later turned into probably the biggest update, the most important update in Brawl Stars history. Because of that update, we are able to play it today. If they stayed portrait, it would have been killed off, so thank goodness for this update that we hated so much. But when Brawl Stars went Landscape, there was an update that they introduced an ad feature for progression. When you opened up a Brawl box, you had the option to watch an ad to double one of the resources that were in the Brawl box. So watching an ad gave you more progression. It was crazy. And not only that, one of the most satisfying things that came from watching this ad in order to get free rewards was the free Brawl box that came out in the daily deal shop. You would open up the free Brawl box and then watch an ad and then get a whole nother Brawl box for free. Can you imagine? I'm sure so many free-to-play players would be utilizing this ad feature in the game right now. Who doesn't want more progression, dude? I watched those ads gladly. But then of course it was later removed from the game, a very satisfying feature in Brawl Stars and something that I'm sure not a lot of you guys knew about. Next up, moving along a little bit further down Brawl Stars history, we're actually getting quite close to present day, and that was for the second ever currency converter that we had here in the history of Brawl Stars, and oh boy was it satisfying. Tickets were removed from the game, a resource that you could actually get for free out of the daily deals, so free-to-play players also benefited from this, but they were converted. For every 10 tickets you would have, you would get a gem. It would round up. So in this photo, this person had 122 tickets and it was converted to 13 gems. Beautiful. Just imagine how satisfying it would be for a video if something like this happened again, and on all of my accounts we got converted all these new resources into gems and used it for like a huge mega Brawl box opening. It'd be so much fun. But yeah guys, I would say one of the most satisfying things that happened in the history of Brawl Stars were these currency converter events that happened in the past for resources that were more desirable. If you ask me, gems, the most important resource. It was awesome. But really after this, we are getting incredibly close to present day. I believe the tickets were removed because the Brawl Pass was being implemented, and we all know the Brawl Pass, right? Now I could go over so many different things that were different about Brawl Stars back in the day and the satisfying things that came from old school Brawl Stars, such as the very first purple rank back in the day was rank 16, which is pretty dang interesting. But it sure is fun to look back on all of these fond memories, or if you're newer to Brawl Stars, look back at the history of Brawl Stars and how crazy it's changed. There's so many other things, but I think we went over the most satisfying things that came from old school Brawl Stars, getting us to this point. It's pretty dang cool. But yeah guys, I think that's a good ending point here in today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed taking a trip down memory lane as much as I did here in this video. It sure is fun. Here's to all the fun that we've had in Brawl Stars along the way, and I'm sure we'll have just as much fun in 2022. Very much so looking forward to this next year. But yeah guys, hope you all enjoyed this video here today. If you did, make sure to slap a like on it. I'd really appreciate that. Have an absolutely fantastic rest of your day. Keep having fun with Brawl Stars, and we'll see you in the next video. Adios everybody. Take care.